So I've basically made every video there is to make on BLOXBURG, but I've never done a speed build. And these were popping off in like 2018. Even today, I still see some very popular ones. And to switch things up a little bit, over the top of the speed build, I'm going to be answering questions that you guys left for me on Instagram. So a little bit of a Q&A, shall we say. Now, if you're genuinely interested in building the house in this speed build, it costs $340,000, which is a bit expensive. And you're also going to need multiple floors and advanced placement. So I tried to keep it pretty user-friendly. And this house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home, which has got a pretty traditional and Victorian style to it. And so yeah, we'll do the tour at the end. And with all that said, let the video commence. So this first question seems appropriate for a BLOXBURG speed build, and it says, how did you get rich in BLOXBURG? I always wanted to be rich, but I can't. Well, nowadays, BLOXBURG pays me, because if you didn't know, I'm in the creator program, so it pays me $2 million BLOXBURG dollars every month. So that's what I really use for my videos. Back in the day, I used to also buy my money, which is so dumb, but how else were you expecting me to post 5 videos a week? Do you know what I mean? And I was literally spending about £200 every week on Robux to just get money in BLOXBURG. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But my advice for you is I actually have a video on my channel from years ago, which perfectly explains like the best ways to get rich. I always recommend doing pizza delivery job and like watching Netflix in the background. There's really no way around it. Nobody wants to work these days, but you've just got it. The next question is by far the most popular one I have gotten for years. I can't even put a particular one on the screen. I'll put about 500 on, because that is how many people are asking me it. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Now, I remember answering this in like a random, like halfway through a random building video about 3 years ago. I am a boy. Yes, I have a girl avatar in Roblox. It's just because back in the day, I always found the girls' clothes to be better, and I still think that. But anyway, around the time that I made this avatar was when I started getting a load of followers on TikTok and YouTube, and then by then it was too late to change it. Everyone knew me for this blonde glasses girl. Yeah, I'm a boy in real life, like I'm he and whatever. But in Roblox, I really don't care if you call me he, she, queen, whatever you want, because I'm not gonna be like, guys, I'm a boy, you have to call me he. Do you know what I mean? When I've got a girl avatar, like it's confusing even for me. Call me what you want in Roblox, but yeah, if you ever meet me in real life, I am a man. The next thing a few people asked was, how old are you? I'm 19, that's very easy to answer. I was born in 2006, which these days sounds old. The next few questions I'm gonna group together, it's people saying, how did you start BLOXBURG? What made you do a YouTube career? Making it sound so fancy. Well, let me start with how it all begun. So I literally remember the day. It was 2018 and I was with my friends. I don't know if I should say their name. Let's call them Mindy and Cindy. And we were in my bedroom and they're like, Reese's, you should get BLOXBURG. And I was like, what's BLOXBURG? I didn't even have Roblox on my phone. And so I made an account. I started playing BLOXBURG. And then from sort of that moment forward, me and my friend Mindy would constantly FaceTime. She'd show me her massive like blush mansion on BLOXBURG. And I was like, how do you know your way around this map? And back then it was that tiny crusty map, mate. There was literally nothing on it apart from like fancy furniture. Anyway, fast forward about a year, we're like, let's start posting some Instagram pictures. So I literally have the old Instagram pictures in my archive from like 2019. They're so rubbish. But I started off just, yeah, making little posts and videos on Instagram. Then I think in like 2020, when lockdown happened, I moved over to TikTok and it started off like, oh my God, I've got 1,000 followers. Oh my God, I've got 5,000. And then literally like snap bang, I posted this video of me flexing my BLOXBURG money of all things. And it got like 5 million views and 1 million likes. And overnight, basically, I had 100,000 followers on TikTok. And I was like, what? And then from like the next 2 years after that, I was just doing TikTok whilst I was at school doing my GCSEs, because it took about half an hour a day to get a video out, sometimes an hour. And then once that TikTok hit 1 million, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But I was never thinking of it like I could make money. And back then, TikTok paid you like 1p for 1 million views. So it wouldn't have even been worth it, really. I remember this YouTuber called Sunny Misty. She told me, she was like, you should start posting on YouTube. And I was like, do you know what, babes? I've tried it in the past. It hasn't worked out. Let's start posting my shorts onto YouTube. And what do I know it? Within a couple of months, I've gone from 1,000 subscribers to 100,000. And my mind is just blown at this point. I'm like, how has this even happened? Like, I grew up in the days of Musical.ly, mate, where if you got 30 likes, you were like a celebrity. Now I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then when that happened, I thought I might as well start posting long form videos rather than the short. From there on, I literally don't know what happened, but you guys just came in clutch. And within like another few months, I went from 100k to 200k, but with my long form videos. And that's how I sort of built an audience. And then since then, I've just been doing the same thing. I don't really post shorts anymore, but I do still have a TikTok, because that's the other thing. Can't believe I forgot to say. The reason that inspired me to use is because right after I posted all of those shorts on YouTube, my TikTok account with 1 million followers got banned. And I was like, what do I do now? I can't stop creating BLOXBURG content. I love it. So that obviously another thing that made me go onto YouTube. But yeah, that was a long-winded story, but that is from start to where we are now, and hopefully I just get to continue doing this as long as you guys are interested. So after that absolute essay, mate, feels like I just wrote an English language exam. Somebody put, do you miss peak BLOXBURG? So I guess what they mean by that is like 2020 and lockdown. No, I loved old BLOXBURG, but there was nothing to do. The new map has added so many things to do other than build. Am I going to do any of them? No, but it's there, and that's the point. And they also add enough build mode updates that I don't get bored. I do understand that people are like, why is no one playing anymore? The game is dying. But I feel like this game has had so many moments where the player count is low. Like, I remember, like, 5 years ago, I was in school, and the player count was like 6,000. I was like, BLOXBURG's dying. And 6 years later, we're still here. So I think everything's going to be fine. Now, this next question is not to do with BLOXBURG at all. It's actually, what is your favorite thing to do when you are not filming? And I have a lot of favorite things to do. My main hobby is golf, as a lot of you guys know. I've been playing golf for about 3 years. I've been having lessons for about 2. And I actually feel bad for my golf teacher, guys, because I'm still literally so average. He must be thinking, like, how dumb is this guy? Like, he cannot even hit a ball straight. And then other things I like to do when I'm not filming is I do like TV. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not outside playing golf all the time. No one asked this, but my favorite TV show that I'm watching at the moment is Game of Thrones. I also love Vampire Diaries, Dynasty, 911. A lot of shows that I think you guys would have seen as well. Well, there's a couple of questions here about role plays. I wondered when this would come up. There is sort of 2 types of BLOXBURG YouTubers, isn't there? There's role players and there's builders, and there's not really an in the middle. I don't know many people who do building and role playing, and so obviously I do building. Don't know if you could tell. However, I have dabbled in role playing and I quite like it. But I think the most entertaining role plays for me to watch are when there's multiple people talking. So who remembers like Amberry's back in the day when it was Amberry and Olive and Richie? And
did you not hear? Did people not tell you?
I found that really entertaining. But the thing is, I do not have 4 other people who play BLOXBURG enough to do that with me. Of course, I could like hire people to do it with me, but I don't know like if you guys want role playing that much. Let me know if you want me to do more, because I am running out of things to build. The next question says, how many pets do you have in your family? We've always been a cat family. Do not come for me, dog people. I feel like dog people are so overprotective. If your favorite animal isn't a dog, they'll literally hunt you down. I have 1 cat. I've watched 3 of my cats died. One of them actually died like a minute before I started filming a YouTube video, and I just filmed the video anyway, and I'm like crying at the beginning of it. I have no idea what video it is, but if you know about that, then you know. It's actually really sad, so I need to move on. And ladies and gentlemen, it's probably the question you've all been waiting for. Face reveal. Face reveal. When are we gonna get a face reveal, BB? Well, this is probably the most interesting thing because it's not as simple of an answer as you might think. Technically, I already did one. When I was young and stupid and 16, I posted it on TikTok and I look flipping disgusting. I literally look so bad, and I do not look like that anymore. It takes all my bodily strength not to do a face reveal because I just want to prove to you guys I do not look like that absolute scruff bag anymore. But anyway, please do not go and search for those pictures. I know all of you are going to do it now. One of you little brats actually put, I don't even know how you did this, you put that ugly picture as a question on this story, and when I saw that, oh my god, to be fair, I did actually laugh. That's not what I look like, okay? I was 16, I'm now 19, I've gone through puberty. Well, it doesn't sound like I have, but I have, yeah. So maybe I will do a face reveal one day. And I don't know what stops me doing it, to be honest with you. I've always been quite a paranoid person, so I feel like if I post my face, everyone is going to know who I am, and I'm just never going to be able to have peace of mind in public again. On a little bit of a lighter note, somebody put, what career would you be doing if you weren't doing YouTube? Well, I don't know. I actually was lucky enough to only ever have 1 job before YouTube, and it wasn't even a real job. I had a member of my family who had like a soap factory, which is the most niche thing ever, and I worked about 3 shifts there. And I made soap, and it was actually quite fun. So I never like had a job and then I quit it for YouTube. YouTube was my first job, which is kind of crazy actually, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, this is like not obvious. Not a day goes by where I'm like, I deserve all of this. Like, I am so grateful to have this, and I will never ever take it for granted. But what career would maybe I like to do? Before any of this started, when I was like 12, I always thought I'd be an interior designer, which is so weird because I basically ended up being one just on Roblox. If BLOXBURG isn't an interior design game, what is it? And then I also always wanted to be a singer, but I felt like that's just a canon event of every child wants to be a famous singer. Do you want to hear what I used to sound like? To come through all this worn out leather. those dreams were crushed. Now, I'm no therapist, but I've actually got some like serious, like sad messages here. Somebody put, I wonder why I don't deserve love. When I'm alone at night, I wonder why I exist, which I'm not even going to joke about because, girl, I hope you're okay right now. We all exist for a reason, even if it's not obvious at this point in time. Whether you're meant to do something crazy for the world, like a big invention, or whether you're just meant to put a smile on someone's face every day, everybody is here for a different purpose. And at the end of the day, you really do get to choose. You get to choose if you want to make other people happy. And I know that's very difficult to do if yourself, you're sad, but my advice to you is just don't give up because there's always something better waiting for you down the line. Anyway, therapy sesh over. What keeps you motivated to keep making your videos? I love you, Teresa. I love you so much. What keeps me motivated? I guess just my passion for the game, to be honest with you. And I guess my motivation as well as passion is you guys. The fact that I get to make even one person happy is more than enough for me. So the fact I get to make so many of you like laugh and stuff is actually so cool. And when I really think about it, it kind of scares me because I'm like, how are thousands of people watching me and like finding me funny? That is actually insane. You nosy Nellies, there's so many questions all in a row. What's the best date you've been on? How's your dating life? Are you dating? A lot of you want to know about this apparently, and I rarely speak about it, so I think this is a good time. My dating life, it's always been quite, like, I've always gone on dates and stuff. I've never really shied away these last few years, and right now I'm in a relationship, I think. I think I might have got broken up with yesterday, but that's just a story for another day. But obviously I'm not dating right now because I'm with somebody, but when I've dated in the past, I do love a dinner date, although never for a first date. Do not take me out for dinner. Not that any of you guys are taking me out, but don't take me for dinner on a first date. And if any of you are going on a first date, don't do it, guys, because all it takes is one spaghetti bolognese and you look like an absolute monster eating your dinner, and they're never going to want to see you again because you look like an absolute steak with bolognese sauce flying all over your face. Oh wait, that just happened to me. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't recommend a first date dinner. I quite like a drive. Yeah, I quite like going on a drive and just getting to know somebody the first date. Yeah, and what was the best date I've ever been on? Honestly, no one's taken me on a really overwhelming date. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds so rude, but I plan better days out for myself. Somebody asked, is Axe Girl a baddie? Why do I have a feeling Axe Girl herself asked that? If you know who she is, mate, she pops up in every single video. I don't know how she gets in every single time, and she's always carrying an axe. The next one is, what is your favorite song? Well, everyone knows I love Lana Del Rey and Taylor Swift, but my new like baby is Gigi Perez, who sung Sailor Song. And speaking of music, I can't find the question right now, but I remember seeing somebody ask my opinion on the new Taylor Swift album. I know there's been a lot of hate and controversy around it. I think it's good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm only listening to Fate of Ophelia and Elizabeth Taylor at the moment, but it's not a bad album, guys. Stop hating on it, okay? Now, someone asked, how do you see out them glasses? It says, you look at your profile picture, babes. You're wearing glasses. You're literally wearing Gru's glasses of all things. The next question is, what's your favorite drink? My favorite drink is a berry smoothie. I'm not joking, guys. If you know me, it's sort of an inside joke with me, my family and friends. I drink water and I drink berry smoothies. There's no in between, okay? I will not drink anything else. Maybe a hot chocolate if it's like autumn, but no, I'm not someone who drinks fizzy drinks. I don't drink alcohol, really. Now then, this next question, I actually think is going to be quite helpful to you guys. It says, how did you come across or discover your building style? And my advice to anybody trying to find their building style for the first time in BLOXBURG or for the 100th time, just think of what you want your in real life dream house to look like. For me, I want an old Georgian manor. I love Victorian furniture. I've always loved like paneling, very fancy. It's just about testing things. I definitely recommend using furniture sets to give you inspiration, like the hairpin or traditional or something like that. Now, next question gives you a bit more of an insight into my real life, and it says, do you only do YouTube for work? And as I sort of touched on earlier, yes, I do. I do not have another job or anything like that, and I'm very lucky and grateful not to have another job, because I feel like it would suck a lot of my energy out, and I would be so bored in the videos. I'd be like, hey guys, look at them last bit. Whereas now, I can be all excited. And the next question has absolutely no relation to any of that. It says, what color is your hair in real life? My hair is brown. The next question says, does any online friends like Alaska Violet, etc. know what you look like in real life? That's actually really strange because I think she's the only one like I directly showed, and that was years ago. I don't know exactly what the conversation was, but she said something along the lines of, oh, I didn't know you did a face reveal, because I told her that I did that TikTok one, and then I just went, oh yeah, and then I sent her a picture of my face, and I think she replied something funny like, your hair's fluffy. But yeah, Alaska has seen my face. I don't know if she'd remember it now, and yeah, I don't think I've sent it to anyone else. Sorry. So I feel like these questions have been all over the place, so I'm just gonna answer this one. Have you ever tried McDonald's fries dipped into McFlurry? Of course I have, although it might have been a milkshake I dipped it into. It was amazing, but I'm not gonna lie, I've not had McDonald's in about a year and I will never have it again. It's like I'm not even one of those like vegans. I'm a meat eater, but I would not eat that meat in McDonald's burger. Where's that coming from? I don't want to get a lawsuit, but I don't know what that meat is all about. The next question, what's it like to be a billionaire in BLOXBURG? I wouldn't know because I'm not a billionaire. I wonder if anyone is a billionaire in Bloxburg. I'm a billionaire in the test server, guys. I think they give you like $999 million in there. So actually, it's amazing. The next person asked, what do you think of Labubus? This is the only 24
karat gold Labubu.
That's all I have to say on the matter. Who is your favorite Roblox YouTuber? This is going to sound really funny, but I don't watch any. I will watch like my friends if an update comes out. Like Glossy does some quite good update videos. Peter Bread obviously does them. And I do occasionally watch people here and there, but I don't really watch Roblox. I play it all day. Like at the end of the day, I don't want to watch more Roblox. And that's not because I don't like it. But then my whole life would be Roblox and I'd probably get sick of it after a while. Which actually, there's another question right there that says, do you ever get bored of making Bloxburg videos? And if I'm being 100% honest, yes, I think everybody does. Everyone I've spoken to about it has said at some point or other they've got burnt out. And it's not just Bloxburg, it's any game that you play for a long period of time because you do everything on it. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've done everything on Bloxburg now and I've still got a few ideas left up my sleeve, but soon I'm gonna run out and I don't wanna just repeat the same videos over and over again. Somebody also asked another question about my real life and they said, do you have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have 2 siblings. I think I've spoken about both of them on my channel before, but I've always been very grateful to have siblings. One of them I'm very close with and one of them I don't see very often because they live quite far away. The next question is, will you ever open Discord server? I want to do this so badly. I actually think about this at least once a week. I don't know how. I know that you need Discord mods. I know that it needs so much like moderating and all that stuff. I made one like a few years ago, like literally 3 years ago, and it was chaos. People were sending that picture of my face in, guys. That's how long I've been suffering from that godforsaken picture. I don't know how to make another one, but I do want one because it's such a good place for the community. And somebody also said, how was your high school experience? So in England, we call it secondary school, and it was actually really fun. I was a little bit of an emo at the start. Like I was wearing like a chain around my neck with a key on it and stuff. Obviously, I was at secondary school during lockdown. So the whole of year 9, I was basically at home doing no work because who was actually doing work in lockdown, mate? Literally no one. Because to be fair, the teachers were barely even setting it back then. No one knew what the hell was going on in the world. But yeah, my high school experience was good. And then by the time I got to year 11, I don't want to sound cringe saying this, but I was one of like the popular kids. I was strutting around like I owned the place, and looking back, that's kind of embarrassing to do, but it was fun. And I had a lot of friends there. I knew most people in my year, and I'd sort of just talk to anyone. Just to give a little bit more detail to like Roblox at school, my TikTok account, I remember in year 11 had something like 900,000 followers, and everyone knew it was, which was actually kind of scary. And I remember all like the football boys would come up to me and they'd be like, what hashtags do I need to use in my TikTok? Like, is this the right way to go viral? And I was like, yeah. And then I remember people in the changing rooms, I was actually half naked getting ready for PE, and people would come up to me like, congratulations on 900k, and I was like, I'm naked. Anyway, we're reaching the end of the speed build now, so I'm gonna make these next few questions my last one. Somebody said, are you gonna play 99 Nights in the Forest, or are you gonna stay in Bloxburg? Now, this question isn't necessarily just about 99 Nights in the Forest, but it's about other games. How I think I'm gonna keep it is, I think I'm gonna keep Bloxburg on my main channel, and I'm gonna keep other games on my second channel, Drewese's Games. So go and subscribe over there if you want to see me play that other game. But as I said earlier, I am slightly running out of building Bloxburg ideas, so I'm gonna have to think about maybe doing some more roleplay videos. I definitely need you guys to leave your ideas in the comments as well. But yeah, I'm definitely not quitting Bloxburg anytime soon. And I think this question is the most perfect one to end on. It says, how did your family and friends react to your YouTube success? Well, thank you so much, first of all, for referring to me as a success. Well, let's start with my family. My mum at first, she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. When I was literally just like posting TikTok, she was like, it is crazy how you have 1 million followers. And I was like, I know, mum. And then when I started like getting paid for YouTube, it was around the time I was 16, and she was like, you need to get a job. And I was like, okay. And then when she saw that like you can make money from YouTube, she was like, okay. She was perfectly happy with me having that as my job. And she was also very like encouraging. She always has been. She actually bought me my first microphone. When it comes to my friends, they obviously all sort of knew throughout school, as I said, that I had my TikTok. They think it's like really cool, just as I do. And I know this question didn't ask about this, but when it comes to dating new people, I never tell them at first that I'm a YouTuber, and it's not because I'm embarrassed. It's probably like the thing I'm most proud of in my whole life. I don't want people to go and search me up and see this as their first impression of me. Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm filming for you guys, I'm so comfortable. Like, I literally don't care being absolutely crazy. But like when I'm first meeting someone, I obviously don't want to come across as that like straight away. When you know me, yeah, but not straight away. And so many of them have thought I'm like a druggie or something. They thought like I post feet pictures or something. And it was always like, why are you thinking that? But anyway, that is the Q&A done. I hope you guys feel like you know every single personal detail about me now. But for those of you who did actually build the house or want to just see what it looks like, this is the exterior. And I actually am well happy with this. Now, as I said at the beginning, it is a £340,000 house. As we go inside, this is like the main corridor. The first room on this side is like a little lounge room. It's very old granny style. That's the thing about speed builds. If you don't like one room, you can always just decorate it for yourself. Or you can just nick the outside and do the interior however you want. Now, if we go opposite, this is a laundry room because it actually leads into the garage as well. Just next to the laundry room, we have a little office with like a dog twerking. And then this here is my favorite room. It's the kitchen and dining room. So it's sort of like combining the two, but they're also separated. The dining room is definitely like my favorite. It looks stunning. As we go upstairs, this is the master bedroom. Again, definitely the best with its very own bathroom and closet. Just next door, we have a family bathroom, and I love this painting. All I do is I look up old painting or fancy painting or something, and it usually comes up with some good ones. Second to last, we have a nursery, and finally, I added a kid's bedroom. And with that, my first ever speed build comes to an end. Let me know if you guys liked this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you chickens in the next one.